Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene set in Odessa of Dark Crusade Season 2. On this fine, clear evening, one of the many winter nights of Odessa, we set the scene with the lovely Lady Eirene, young neonate to Clan La Sombra, being given a recent invitation after having written a letter requesting a meeting with the Lady Katerina, her grandsire. And after about 24 hours, she receives a letter stating that, she would just love to meet her newest grandchild at a dinner she has set up in one of the many Vendome estates. And there is so much for the two to discuss, and that really she should write more. She doesn't write often enough. It unfairly tugs at her heart. She is wounded.
Oh
And it
no.
is with that we set the scene with Eirene on her rather short journey to the Vendome household.
Yes. Yeah, would have dressed up in one of her more nicest, if not, definitely not the nicest, but definitely one of her more nicer dresses. 'Cause, you do need to look well presented when you're gonna meet someone that powerful. But also must make sure that you don't look better than she does. So yeah, she dresses to sort of impress, but not entirely so. And she'll yeah, take like a couple of like guardsmen with her, just the one, because it's the noble's quarter. She doesn't need to go very far, and yeah, and yeah, we'll go to the Vendome estate, or one of the estates, or and
You
we'll ring
take a
bells.
short ride, or are escorted
Hmm.
as a noble daughter of the Orbellian line. And you arrive at the Vendome household, where all is as planned for your arrival. Um, it's within the nobles' quarter, so it's fairly quaint. It's not one of their larger estates out in the countryside. But as you approach, uh, the gates are opened by two of the servants, and you are permitted entry as the carriage trots along down a quick, short trail, ending at the doors to this household, where the where your driver, as it were, plops off the carriage and will open the door for you. And as you get out, there will be a steward waiting for you, who is ever so polite.
Yay. Manners. Yep. I will get out and we'll look around because she's never been here before and this is interesting. Um, and yeah, we'll go up to the steward and will present herself, saying that she has an appointment with Lady Katerina.
Ah, good good evening, my lady. It is an absolute pleasure to see you. I am the steward of this household. Yes, the mistress of the house is expecting you. I would.
Thank you. Hmm?
She is right this way. If you would like me to take you straight to her, or you are free to peruse the grounds.
No, it would be lovely to meet her as soon as possible. Thank you.
Of course, my lady. Right this way, and he will take you straight to her. He seems quite professional, a little bit curt. Um, in how he moves, not really in how he addresses people.
Hmm.
And he will, yeah, simply take you into the household. Again, it's not particularly large, it's within the noble district, so the grounds aren't particularly that large. They have to fit multiple homes, which are fairly spread out because there's not many nobles.
Hmm.
But they're not like big sprawling multiple multi-acre estates.
Okay.
Yes, as you head out to or head to one of the how to say lounges of this building. I need to have Faye for 30 seconds, and Irene is free to express her thoughts during that time.
Great. So,
Learning improvisation. To go do it.
um, what's going through Irene's head? Well, that's interesting. She is sort of she's feeling a mild curiosity mixed with respect. She is anticipating this conversation, not because she necessarily fears the elder that she's about to speak to, but because she does not want to upset her in any way. Even though they've not spoken a lot, Irene uh, is kind of admiring the Lady Katerina. Um, she's also just checking the area, basically comparing it to the household of Rebellion, which is a house that she is assisting, quote unquote. Um, just comparing the styles with each other, since they're both they have a certain common background. So she's just comparing both houses to see the differences in style, in atmosphere, in people that are wandering around, in how the servants are dressed, how the house itself is maintained. That kind of things is just something that she is trying to discern. seeing if there's any way that she can improve her own house compared to the house, the household that she's walking in right now. So yeah, I'm glad you're back. Please take over.
Oh, were you struggling that much?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you get seven. You get seven demerits. You should have done better.
Mean.
No, it's
Yes.
justified. So on you literally just head down. It's really not really you're not really walking up a hall. It's more like you enter the foyer. You head up some. You go through a room. Sorry, you go through a door off to the right, and it's a small. Basically leads to a room directly with a door to its left, and then a small stairway at the end of a room. It's not very large at all. It's like 10 by 6 or something. And the stairway just goes up, then turns, then just goes up again, up to the first floor. And then you are led um, up the stairs into the next room, which leads you into a small set of corridors. And then halfway down the corridor, uh, you have a door to the halfway to the right of the corridor, halfway down on the right wall as it's opened, and you see a bunch of lit candles held up around the room,
Mm-hmm.
the walls. You
Okay.
see various various framed artworks and two small seating areas, one in the top left corner or the back left corner of the room or towards it, and the other on the opposite side at the front right corner. And you see Lady Katerina just sitting in the top right corner, uh,
Okay.
just kind of lounging on a sofa as she begins to approach you.
While lounging on a sofa, truly, she's magnificent.
Yes, she is. She agrees with the statement.
Yeah, Irene will curtsy very deeply. Um, as the lady approaches.
Oh, Irene. It's enough with us. She kind of whispers the steward's name as she kind of politely shoos him away uh, as she walks on up to you and and grasps you in a sort of it's a very affectionate hug.
Yay,
You
hugs.
kind of wind up buried into her chest.
Oop, okay. Um, yeah. Uh,
Irene, it's been so many months. Why haven't you written to me already?
I apologize. These past few months were rather interesting and kept me very busy. I do apologize. I hope you are well.
I am, my dear, and a death is always interesting. That is no excuse.
I'm afraid I have no other. I have been neglecting you, and I do apologize.
Do make sure not to neglect your dear grandsire in the future.
As you wish, my lady.
She can get very lonely sometimes.
Yes, I have not seen you very often. Is there a reason why? Is something troubling you?
Oh no, just keeping the city afloat. From the numerous catastrophes which I'm no doubt you're very much aware of at this point. I hear
Yeah,
you've grown up very fast.
um, I still have a lot to learn.
Already alienate an entire house to yourself.
I did not expect the rumors to be so exact.
They didn't. I've
Yes,
been quite careful to make sure there have been no rumors. But I know my grandchild when I see her.
thank you, my lady. Um,
And I know when she goes poking around.
looking around. Um,
That's right, Julia, poking around.
you seem to be extremely well informed. Yes, I thought it would be the easiest way to explain my presence in the House of Rebellion. It was very easily done, and I do enjoy my mortal family so much.
I'm sure you would. The Orbellians are a good and proper family.
They are indeed. Now,
Come, take a seat with me.
of course, as you wish. Irene will
She,
follow Lady Katerina.
yeah, she kind of like releases you from her stranglehold. Um, and well, actually, considering she's La Sombra, it's a fair. That's not even a euphemism, really. It's just literal.
Yeah.
That's just true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she kind of with she just kind of gently puts both her hands on your shoulders and just kind of guides you over to the sofa.
Yay. Yeah, Irene will happily let herself be guided there. And
A healthy amount of potence.
mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, no, she'll sit down basically where Katerina will basically tell her to sit down.
Yep. She just kind of guides you on over to the sofa at the right side of the room.
Mm-hmm.
There's a It's just a series of sofas and a small table in the center. There's also a footrest for one of the chairs, which is currently unused. She just gently sits down beside you. So, she kind of like leans in and like in a sort of conspiratorial fashion. What else has my grandchild been up to these nights? What trouble have you been getting yourself into?
Oh, I can assure you that I did not put myself into a lot of trouble. It's
She
not a
looks at
habit.
you as if you're like flagrantly lying to her in like a very tongue-in-cheek fashion, like,
I mean,
ah,
it's.
sure.
I mean, usually doesn't try to get herself into trouble. Just trouble gets to her quite often.
This is a horrible spin on a complete lie.
I knew you would say that. Um, so she'll think about this and says, "Well, I did have an instance with an individual breaching my domain um, not too long ago. The Scourge and I have taken care of it."
I am so glad to hear.
Yes, it
This,
was interesting.
the Scourge is quite a, shall we say, tongue-in-cheek fellow. But he is very good at his job.
Yes, he is. I was about to say that. He does not seem to have the social grace that some of us have, but he does make up for it in prowess.
I've personally thought that's always been his point.
Well, I do think you're right.
He's always been a bit of a trickster. But you'll find that he's, as you say, he has quite the prowess. But you
In
make it sound as if you know from experience.
Well, we did end up in somewhat of a struggle with the perpetrators. So, in a way, I guess I have learned from experience. Mm, it wasn't that big of an issue, though, I guess. Um, there was a fight, and, well, we ended up at least taking two of them captive. But it was interesting to watch the Scourge in action. He's a very capable individual. I am sure, quite sure, that I was not necessary in the situation. As it was, he had it very well in hand.
I'm sure you are more than helpful, Irene.
Most certainly
But
not.
it's a wonder of how many fights I hear you get into, how you manage to keep all of your dresses intact.
I have an excellent. One of my ghouls is very good at repairing my dresses, and I have a dress made for when I expect to get into a fight.
I'm sure you have quite the diverse wardrobe, dear.
I try to, yes. Though I am always on the lookout for some nice new fabrics and or nice new dresses. It's been a while since I had a new one though.
I will I will see to it that my tailor has you a new dress made.
Your lady is too kind. I thank you.
Not good, not too kind. Simply too far too affluent for my own good.
Have you spoken to Prince Ulrich lately?
He told me he was in the city.
I see. Has he told you anything else? Things that happened? How he's been lately?
Why so curious, Eirene?
Oh, I apologize. I did not mean to intrude on your personal affairs. I was just wondering what I, I was trying to find out how close the two of you are. Um, I'm intruding in business that is not my.
She kind of rests her palm against her cheek and uh on the arm of the sofa and or rather the back of the sofa because she's kind of turned towards you. Uh and kind of gives you this "oh honey" look.
Oh, honey, look.
Oh honey. It's a very she gives you a very she gives you the somewhat salacious and scandalous look.
Okay. I mean,
Well,
looks
we
like
are sire and child, Eirene.
yes. I know. And like I said, I did not mean to intrude on your relationship with each other.
Oh no, it's nothing at all. I didn't know you cared for my child as so deeply.
Um, well, we are close. She's not a lie, so I'm not going to roll subterfuge there. But I was just curious as to the. How does one put it? I'm not very familiar with the what is quote unquote normal between sire and child. So I guess I was curious about that.
Her smile grows somewhat. It's not worrying at all. Uh, nope.
Right. Oh
Um,
boy. What am I getting myself into? Yeah, go talk to your grandsire, they said. Nothing can go wrong, they said. Aw.
we didn't told you that. This is vampire. Everything can go wrong when you talk to
Yeah.
a In
True.
fact, it's likely to.
Yeah.
That person should be fired. God damn it, Emmy.
That was you, not a mate.
Um,
Don't blame a mate for this.
I will, and you'll be the victim of misdealings. uh, yeah, small grows somewhat. Well, when a sire and child love each other very much,
Oh boy.
she pauses.
I mean, it's just, placing one hand on top of the other one. Very deliberately kind of hiding the wedding ring around her finger.
She's gonna perception empathy the fuck out of that.
Okay. I will, I don't know, manipulate subterfuge that?
Yeah, go ahead. Everything's
Oh,
fine. Or
God,
appearance,
yeah.
appearance of the future.
What? Appearance subterfuge. Okay.
Yeah,
Yay.
because you're trying to. Okay. She has a specialty, so she has 4 successes.
Jesus. Fuck my life. Damn you, one. I got 3 successes. If I had a specialty, this would have been like, wow.
Thank you, one. In all seriousness, Irene, I cannot speak for the other clans. I hear the Gangrel and the Bruja often embrace on a whim. But for us, like many of the other more proper high clans, she gently places her hands on yours. Our sire must feel very passionately about their prospective child to be willing to embrace. After all, it is adding another to an exclusive society of royals and gods. Hidden kings and queens. We test our own slowly. We challenge their mortal life. We see how they fare to see if they are worthy of bearing our name, of burying the blood of our line. We give them choices. We force them to act. And if, after all they have been through, they are still worthy, still whole, they join us in the halls of the shadows. And the passion flows quite freely after that. We no longer have to hide from the one that had so impassioned us, caught our eye. And for a short time we learn, for it is not just the sire that teaches the child.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with me.
I'm not finished.
I apologize.
For a while the child learns. And the child, she shares in her sire's passions. They talk, they love, they fight, they feud. And then they grow up. They learn how to fight for themselves, how to plan for themselves. Perhaps even the child has shared in shared her own passions with her sire. And then when the time is right, they learn how to leave the nest. And if they're lucky, have avoided any of the knives thrown their way. It's hard to fly with a clipped wing. That's always the final test, Eirene. To know how to trust and then how to break trust.
How to break trust?
Oh, you are ever so young.
I would not break the trust that Ulrich has in me.
Eirene, I'm never saying you would.
I'm gonna peony that.
Yeah, sure. Just 5 successes.
Wow. It's not enough because I only have 5 dice to roll at this, but I got 5 successes too.
That's really sad. I'm sorry.
Uh, so
Yeah,
sad.
right. Yeah, apparently that's we prepare our own for the betrayal of others. And so we always test ourselves. We test our childer to know when and where to trust, when not to trust, how to get others to trust you, and when that trust must be broken.
Um,
But I am sure Auric is completely loyal to you, and you are completely loyal to him. She kind of gives you a soft hug and rubs your hair.
even if he's not, I do still love him, and I would not break his trust.
Pauses for a moment. Hmm. You may have just done so.
What do you mean?
Well, you never told me you were so intimate with each other.
It doesn't matter on what scale our intimacy lies. Doesn't matter how intimate we are. I would not betray him.
But that's not what you said. We have another sobriquet outside of the label of Magister. Do you know what that is?
I'm afraid I do not.
Keeper.
Yes, I've heard of it, yeah.
Often as a reference to keepers of the blood. But there is a second inference to take from it. keepers of loyalty. Just as how the blood is kept within the clan, how it is often claimed and reclaimed to ensure that a lineage is never tainted by the unworthy or the incompetence or the self-destructive. We learn the ins and outs of trust and betrayal, not just so that we know when another is attempting to place a knife in our back, but also so we know who to keep loyal to and how to keep it, Eirene.
I see.
It is one thing to declare your loyalty to one, is another to declare your love. That tells me a lot of things. But if I felt inclined to, I could exploit. Fortunately for you, I am of the clan of shadows, and I am not a follower of Set, so you need not worry. But do take it as a lesson to be careful who you share your words with and how you go about saying them. That may have been what had led to that little rough and tumble you had with wishing on that Elysia.
Yes, I understand. I erred. In,
You need not explain yourself to me. I know that you were trying to do what was best for everybody in the room. Because I trust you, Eirene.
thank you.
You are my grandchild. I know you would never attempt to do harm to us.
I would not, but I'm afraid many do not see it that way, including your sire.
My sire has his reasons.
Sometimes I'm afraid that I should not be here, but
Oh, she gives you a warm hug. Her skin is cold
yeah,
and placid as a Cainite corpses,
as they should be.
as they are.
I don't mean it to. Hmm, I don't say this. I have never said this to anyone. And I'm not saying this to be pitied or whatnot, but I know that I am trusting too easy and trusting others. And I feel like either I am too young and I still have a lot to learn, or I do not understand our society as well as I should. You are very wise, both in general as well as specifically in our society and how it reacts to things. I would I would wish to see you more often and learn from you so that I would not be a disgrace to my clan again, would not make the same mistakes while still having the same goals and ambitions at heart. I would love to cooperate with you more often.
Do I hear a proposition, Irene?
I'm not really. I'm not in any position to make propositions. Merely a request.
Then I will hear your request.
I've been asked to consider a harpy position. I think it's a great honor that people seem to think I'm fit for such a duty, but I realize I still have a lot to learn. And, well, seeing how fluent you are in social conversation and observance, how much I could learn from you. How, even when you're not around, how well aware of everything that's going on you seem to be. I was wondering if you would not be willing to consider such a position. I think it would be a great service to our clan, but to our city as well. And as I said, for me personally, I would love to work with you and to see you move a sea of people with just this way of your hands, because I have the feeling you could.
You do me so much credit, Irene. But to have two mentors is an awfully jealous business. If I were to teach you my ways, detente with my child would need to be reached. Perhaps for the best, given that you are here and he is so far away. If you would be willing, of course.
Um, I had not thought about that. You mean that? Mm, mm. Ulrich would stop teaching me at that point? Quite honestly, I never really considered that an option, really.
I'm not trying to disturb your relationship with him,
I know.
but I would not wish to become entangled in it either.
I understand. Mm, um, how much time can you give me to think about this?
Depends. Have you already made your intention for Harpy clear? If so, we may need to move rather quickly.
I haven't made a request officially yet. I first wanted to know your opinion on where you stood regarding Master of Harpy's position.
Mistress, mistress.
Ah, I apologize, mistress.
Far more elegant, I think.
You are right, most definitely.
Why, I would be delighted to partake if I were to succeed, and I would be delighted if I were to have you working under me.
I see. Then, is there anything I can do for so that you could reach your goal in this?
Promises and prestation can go a long way in this world. Unfortunately, I am quite indebted.
To whom?
Now that I could not say.
Of course. But if there's anything I can do to help.
Maybe convince some of The other neonates. Do what a harpy does, Irene. Control the narrative.
Of course.
You are a young Cainite of our city. As such, you are far more closely connected to and trusted by the other neonates of this city than I or any elder ever will be.
I hardly doubt that.
Oh, but it is true. We keep to our own. Come now.
But I
Even
can.
you must understand that. Your
I,
innocence will only take you so far, Irene.
I do not know if the other neonates in the city trust me. I know I've erred a lot. I
Talk to
think
some of them, and if it is not to earn their support, then to have them believe that I have already won.
oh,
Oftentimes, it is less about active support and trust more than it simply is about others falling in line, in them seeing no other viable candidate but one figure.
I understand. It's.
If you wish to be a harpy, these are the things you will need to do.
I understand that too. It is not something that I often do. I pride myself in being honest, but I do understand the necessity of what you are suggesting, and it is definitely smart.
Speak to the Toreador Hiwa. I have an interest in her.
Of course.
I think, like yourself, she would make a fine harpy.
Mhm.
And if she believed she were to become one with my ascension, I think that would do much to ensure her support and aid us both in controlling the narrative. Maybe I would be willing to consider other figures for the position. Not the guarantee, of course.
Of course.
Oftentimes, the slightest push is enough. Again, some promises you can afford to break, others you must keep. I would ask that while you do not speak for me,
Hmm.
don't be afraid to imply that an offer might be on the table.
Yes, I will do so.
Maybe
Thank you.
point them in my direction.
Are there any other neonates that you have a special interest in?
I don't think we'll need any more figures than myself, you, and Hewart for the moment. But maybe for those that support us, a good word from the Harpies can do a great deal of work.
Hmm. I will see what I can do.
It's not about what can be done, Irene, it's about what will be done.
Of course. I will arrange your meeting with you. What? I've been to several, and I think she likes me.
Ah, yes, Court of Stars,
Candles.
candles. She's made quite the name for herself. I think
Yes.
I'll enjoy her,
Mhm.
much like I enjoy you, but not quite as much.
Uh,
No one could contest my little grandchild.
you make me blush.
Good. I shall endeavour to do so more often.
You honor me in putting so much trust in me, and I will honor you in not betraying that trust.
Then you've learned the first lesson.
Irene was simply not.
Very good. Very good, Irene. You're going to make us all very proud.
I can only endeavor to do so. Well, I thank you for the time that you've given me. I will.
I'm so glad that we got to share this time together. It's been far too long since we got to last speak.
Then let us make sure that we will see each other again soon.
3 nights. That will give you some time to speak with Heward and come to a decision about myself and Ulrich, and I'll talk to him about it as well. I shall not put everything on your head. That would just be rude.
As you wish. 3 nights. I will see you then, my lady.
I'll see you
Irene,
then, Irene.
Irene will rise and curtsy again.
Ah, she'll just give you a hug. After all, she'll say, and she'll actually say, "What is status between two clanmates, a grandsire and a grandchild?"
What is it indeed? But there's always time to do things properly.
You're even more formal than I. You'll fit in fine.
Thank you, my lady. And farewell.
Goodbye, Irene. She'll release you from her vice grip.
Yeah, Irene will leave.
Yeah, you are escorted out. and you return home to rest for the evening.
Yay.
Oh, as you go to sleep, would you like to roll me perception awareness?
Oh boy. Yes, sir. Perception awareness.
You're like, yay!
Yay! Ooh.
Oh, what do you get?
Nothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
What am I supposed to give you? I don't think I can give you anything now.
Oh. So sad.
No! Sad. I cry.
I could roll again at a higher diff.
um, I will give you a single image because while you see very little, you do catch something. You see the blood-stained image as you go to sleep. You see this blood-stained image in your thoughts, or this blood-red image in your thoughts. The landscape of a very, very, very large urban landscape.
Have I seen this city before?
No,
Oh, okay. I have a feeling I saw this
even if
picture
you did,
before,
you would
but
not know. You got no successes.
okay. Oh dear. Check.
And I think that is why we'll end this scene as Eirene falls into the day sleep, dreaming of this beautiful blood-red landscape. For this night, Eirene, you will not have to roll for nightmares, as you just dream of this.
I don't have the nightmare flaw
Oh, you
anymore.
don't. Oh, yeah, you don't. You're right. That doesn't matter. Okay, well, you have a wonderful sleep as you dream of this of again this beautiful blood red city, this paradise on earth, as we come to an end.